right? A professional, world-class athlete like Marion Jones, a recognizable face, recognizable brand, right? Corporations were just standing behind this young lady to endorse her, to sponsor her, because she was going to be the next Flo Jo, the next Evelyn Ashford. She was going to be the next big it, right? And after winning 5 medals, 3 golds, a bronze, and a silver, she had made her case to be a top-class world athlete. But then later on, found out that she was involved in doping, right? And that's understandable because a lot of athletes have been found guilty for doping. And why? Because they need to have that competitive edge. It's a competitive field. But why would Marion Jones and her husband get involved in forging bad checks? Bad decision making, poor decision making, right? Not realizing the importance that you have and the accountability that you have, right, as being a major brand. Who's that?
Eddie Long.
Bishop Eddie Long. Why y'all laughing? Bishop Eddie Long. When this whole thing unfolded, right? And I was trying to, get an understanding of, why. I mean, he didn't admit to it, right? He didn't deny it either. When somebody got paid under the table, right? Hush money, right? I give you this amount. We seal everything. We don't say anything. We wash it clean, right? New Birth Missionary Baptist Church is like what? Half of what it used to be, if not less than that, right? He was the face of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, right? He was the face of Baptist Christians here in Atlanta, if not worldwide, because New Birth was viewed in South Africa, in parts of Africa, parts of the Caribbean, right? But why the unethical decision making to, have sex with young boys? Because he had access to it, right? Again, bad decision making. People who should know right from wrong, right? But we are humans. We are human beings, right? We're human beings. God didn't make us all perfect, but He gave us a brain with which to think, with which to make decisions, right? And we, as accountable professionals, adults, right, should be held accountable for making right decisions, right? Who's that?
Michael Jackson's doctor.
Dr. Conrad Murray. Dr. Conrad Murray. Dr. Conrad Murray, said to have been one of the best doctors in his profession, in his discipline, in his area, right? In his area. But what? Fell victim to what? Bad decision making. Again, right? But then you got to think about it. $150,000 a month to put Michael to sleep. All you got to do is put Michael Jackson to sleep for $150,000 a month. Right? Now, you got ethics, and you got $150,000 in his hand. You got ethics in his hand, $150,000 in his hand. Right? But then again, you have to think, at what point, where is the threshold between good decision making and bad decision making that causes a crisis to your image, that takes you down? Because he's been stripped from every professional license, certification, designation, cannot practice medicine ever again, unless he's running a little chop shop behind his house that nobody knows about. But this was once a well-respected doctor, right? A well-respected doctor. But now what? Because of bad choice. He knew what he was doing was wrong. Because that propofol should not have been used outside of the operating room. It should not have been used. He took an oath as a professional doctor. When you belong to professional organizations, I belong to several. You take an oath to your code of ethics to do the right thing, to perform ethically, right? As a member of this organization, as a representative of your profession. But he didn't. Greed, money, bad decision making, again. Now in my book, I outline 7 things that individuals can do in order to develop and enhance their personal brand, right? The first thing that I highlighted in the book was education, right? We all know the importance of education. We all know the importance of developing ourselves as human beings, developing our minds, developing our professions, right? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a corporate professional, right? It always looks good upon you if you're continuously learning and developing, right? You should never ever strive to stay at one level all of the time, right? As time passes, always look to develop yourself, enhance your skills, because it looks good. It helps to create and develop that brand, right? Because individuals look upon you as someone who's willing to learn, willing to develop, someone who's promotable, right? If you are a business owner, new technology come out, right? And especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're a sole proprietor running a business, right? And many of us are sole proprietors running LLCs and small businesses, right? New technologies come out, new processes come out, new ways of doing things, right? I just had a conversation tonight about social media, how I need to, be doing more as an entrepreneur myself, right? Being educated, and opening yourself to educating and feeding the mind. It doesn't have to be formal education, where you're sitting you register and enroll in a school or anything like that. But just as you're learning and developing and growing your mind and your craft, right? Personal development planning, I want to come back to that because I have a separate handout for that, and I really want to discuss that with you. So we're going to come back to personal development planning. Building confidence in yourself. How important is confidence? How important is it for you to have confidence in who you are? Right? It's very important, right? Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, who do you expect to have confidence in you? Right? If you are an entrepreneur, but one thing, when you talk about, I want to be a businessman, I want to open up a business, I want to start a business. Well, what is it about entrepreneurship and being a sole proprietor? You have to learn how to speak with people, right? Because you are the business owner, you're the marketer, you're the receptionist, you're the person in the mailroom, you're handling everything. You're handling every facet of a small business, right? And in a lot of cases, if you can't afford it, you're updating your own websites, right? But in my case, I said, look, I leave that to somebody. I let them do that. I harass them, But building confidence in yourself, having confidence in who you are as a person, knowing your limitations and knowing your strengths, knowing your capabilities, right? Knowing where you can reach and how far you can go as an individual. Honor and integrity, right? Goes a long way. An honorable person always has strength in their brand, right? Always commands loyalty from those who are in their realm, who are they're interacting with, right? Because if you're not an honorable person, if you're not a person of integrity, people do not wish to deal with you because they can't trust you. And when folks can't trust you, then it's a lost case, right? Again, accountability, being accountable, knowing when you're wrong, admitting you're wrong, knowing when something is not going right, identifying it, and not blaming someone else for what has gone wrong, right? But knowing and say, hey, look, you know what? This is what we had planned to do, but it didn't go right. So I'm going to take the responsible route, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, right? Knowing it looks honorable when you stand up and you take, the heat for something, or you take accountable actions for yourself and accountable actions for those, right? Commitment, right? If you're committed to something, you see it from beginning to end, right? Staying committed, being committed. If you volunteer yourself, or if someone asks you to do something, or if you're a corporate professional, you're part of a team that you have to have, the awareness that you play a key role on that team, right? Be committed to your team, be committed to your task. As an entrepreneur, be committed to your customer. If you're not committed to your customer, you're not in business. First rule, right? If you're not committed to your customer, you're not in business. Personality. We talked about that earlier, right? Having a robust personality, having a vibrant personality. Being the kind of individual everyone wants to be around, right? Being the kind of person that is willing to teach, right? And also willing to learn and open to learning new things, right? The personality, it goes a long way, having a positive attitude and also being the kind of individual that people gravitate to, right? Now, branding for corporate professionals, all right? For those of you who are in the corporate environment, knowing your stuff is always good. You know, having the knowledge that people come to you and trust in you as being the person having information